In many parts of Western Kenya, the soils are poor and do not allow farmers to obtain a good yield. The most common reason for depleted soil in Western Kenya is growing the same cereal crop in the same field year after year, extracting nutrients with each harvest without replacing them. Adding chemical fertilizer is one way to replace nutrients, but many farmers cannot afford fertilizers. The chemicals in the fertilizers also harm small organisms in the soils, which are important to replenishing nutrients.
Shamba ilikuwa imeharibika, ilikuwa na asidi mingi sana. Nilikuwa na changamoto. Hii shamba yangu eka moja, saa zingine nikipanda mahindi, nilikuwa nanipea tu gunia 4. Lakini tangu nianze kutumia mbolea ya kienyeji, nimeona udongo imeimprove sana.
Bokashi is a Japanese word meaning to ferment. So ni aina ya mbolea ambayo imeundwa kutokana na organic materials ambazo zimechanganywa na kuachwa kwa muda wa wiki 2 zichache ama ziferment.
Bokashi is a composting method of fermentation that you can easily do in your farm with just a few simple steps. Bokashi adds both nutrients and microorganisms to the soil, unlike chemical fertilizers that add only nutrients that are quickly consumed or washed away. While traditional composting can take up to 3 months to decompose, Bokashi is usually ready for use after just 2 weeks. Moreover, manure, when not well decomposed, contains weed seeds, and when applied to the field, increases weed infestation.
Bokashi iko na manufaa mengi, haswa kama umetumia kwa kupanda mimea yako. Kwanza kabisa itakuwa inarutubisha udongo wetu. Ikisha rutubisha udongo inamaanisha kwamba mimea pia itakuwa na afya. Mimea ikishakuwa na afya inamaanisha wadudu ama magonjwa hayatakuwa hayatashika ile mimea. Alafu pia wakati wa mvua kidogo utaona ya kwamba mkulima ambaye ametumia Bokashi, udongo yake haitakuwa inapoteza maji kwa urahisi, kwa hivyo itahifadhi maji ambayo pia ni ya muhimu sana kwa mmea.
Now that we have seen the advantages of Bokashi, let's have a look at what is needed to prepare it. Before you start your Bokashi composting, you will need a polythene paper to cover the components mixed and heaped together. You will also need farmyard manure, charcoal dust to aid in aeration and eliminate toxins. Bran the hard outer layer of a cereal like rice, wheat, millet, oats, barley or maize is important in accelerating the decomposition. Then there is molasses, a byproduct of the sugar-making process that is available in agrovetes as a sweetener for cattle feed. It provides energy for the microbes. Rice husks are also very good for the Bokashi, but coffee husks or crushed dry maize cobs can be used as a substitute. This contains silicon.
Baadhi ya zile vitu ambazo tunatumia zina introduce madini tofauti tofauti. Kama vile utapata utapata kuna silicon. Baada ya kuchanganya hizo vitu zote, na silicon tumepata kujua kuwa huwa inakuwa na umuhimu mkubwa sana kwa mmea upande wa kujaribu kukinga mmea yule kutokana na wadudu na vile vile magonjwa tofauti tofauti.
Ile silicon ndio tunasema inafanya mimea inakuwa na afya mzuri. Alafu tena pia inasaidia magonjwa ama wadudu hawawezi shika ule mmea ambao umepanda kutumia Bokashi.
Topsoil is also added to Bokashi to introduce microorganisms along with the yeast to aid in the fermentation process. Finally, eggshells or ash are also important in introducing calcium. Ash also contains carbon, magnesium, potassium, and phosphorus. Let us look at how farmers in Mukarage village in Bungoma County make bokashi. In the first layer, they put 2 wheelbarrows of farmyard manure. Then they add charcoal dust and wheat bran. Turn the heaped material to ensure uniformity. After that, they mix water, molasses and yeast separately and sprinkle this mixture on the heap. As you add the liquid mixture, turn the heaped material to ensure uniformity. The heap should not be too wet or too dry.
When I do my farm records, you'll find out that the fertilizers takes a lot of money. But if I'm going to use the Bokashi here, you'll find that I have to reduce the records. One, they are cheap to be made, which means I'm doing them locally with low costs. Even if I can maybe do the recording of all the materials used in the making of the Bokashi, and then I do the comparison with one bag of the other fertilizers, you'll find out that the Bokashi is cheap and is quick to make.
Within the first 7 days, the bokashi is turned in the morning and in the evening. From the 7th day, the bokashi is turned once a day up to the 14th day. After the 14th day, the fermentation process is complete and bokashi can be used on the farm. It is advisable not to add the bokashi directly, as it is only partially broken down and can scorch the crops. Let's summarize what we have learnt. Poor soil reduces the yield of cereal crops. By using bokashi, you will nourish your soils, thus increase your yields.